Good to have you on the breakfast show today. Merry Christmas.
Good morning. Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas to your guests.
I'm sure you were drawn into that report and reading through the emotions. This is largely what everybody feels in Nigeria at this point in time. We cannot necessarily interact with friends and families, and we can't have the entire celebration as usual. And then Nigerians are majorly limited in terms of their financial power at this point in time. How do you feel about this sort of celebration we have for this year?
Well, I would say essentially it is subdued for the reasons you enumerated. There's COVID, there's a bad economy, and maybe a reduced purchasing power for most people. The report you had is a mirror for the average family. You know, things are not what they used to be. By some adventure, I was checking some old reports yesterday. In 2010, we were complaining that, okay, a bag of rice moved from 6,700 to 7,500, 8,000. Within 10 years, it's moved from that 7,000 to 28,000. It was even 31,000 earlier. I think it was the threat of reopening border that brought the price down. Some reduction. But you look at it, I can tell you with a high degree of confidence, if a bag of rice in US was $50 10 years ago.
The price has dropped much more.
The price will over between that 50, 47, and maybe 52 now. That's like 5%. We have had 400% increase.
Increment.
As average incomes increased by 50%, not to talk of 100%, to make up for the increase. These are things that are attributable to inflation, economic downturn, recession, global recession, and the one that is not global, that is more or less limited to us. Because there was global recession in 2008, fine. But since then, how many global recessions have we had? But we found out that in the last 4 years, we have found ourselves not just in recession, but in depression as well in this part of the world. The government has a duty to make the common man, the average person on the streets, the focus of their administration.
Making this the focus of the administration at this point in time, earlier in the year, we had the conversation, the back and forth in terms of minimum wage, the implementation of that as well. Now we have inflation at 14.89%. People expect that by December as well, we would have a spike one more time come January as well. That's going to continue to go high before it plateaus later on. But at this point in time, the conversations around living wages is a necessity. State by state level now, what sort of model do you think state governors ought to adopt in terms of exploring their areas of competitive advantages, and this now translates to giving the average Nigerian in each state resident the ability to be able to earn a living wage?
Okay, I think let us look at it this way first. In economic circles, they will tell you that inflation is a form of taxation. There's been, okay, let's pay a minimum wage of 30,000 naira. And even before you start implementing, there's inflation. The exchange rate is going down.
So that saps away any increment.
Saps away whatever form of increment, you know. Within the same period, utility bills have more than doubled. Energy costs have gone up. We are killing the common man. And for want of a better argument, I will tell you that this is the major reason why we are having insecurity. Because people find, okay, why should I, as a graduate, be looking for 30,000 naira and I'm not even getting it? When some other people somewhere with as little as maybe first school living certificate or even none at all they need to do is to capture 30 people, 20 people who are transiting from
understanding that the drivers of economy are the large numbers we have in terms of the masses.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who buy,
and that's why I told you earlier that
brings dividends.
We have to focus on the common man. We have a population. If the economy is growing at 2% and your population is growing at 2.5 or 3%, you are not growing. Because whatever increase you have in terms of output for the economy is being sucked up by the population that is growing rapidly. So if I have to give a panacea, as it were, I would say we should look at developed and developing countries alike who are doing well. The reason China is stable more than any other thing is because they think in terms of employment for their population. They have a population of 1.4 or 5 billion people. So they say, okay, whatever we do, our people must be employed. So if Nigeria focuses on that, like, okay, how do we make sure that the average Nigerian is employed? And that translates to output for the country. If we are importing 80% of what we consume in this country, how do we make sure that the people are employed? And as long as they are not employed, they will always take to crime and other things that are social vices.
We'll definitely like to see an improved economic standing in Nigeria. We would want government to take cues from all of the lessons we've learned from the year 2020. We don't necessarily have to make the same mistakes come 2021. But for every Nigerian, I think it's just a time to still find a way to celebrate despite the subdued emotions we have at this point in time. Thank you very much for your time on the Breakfast Show today, Michael Ilo, and to have a wonderful celebration.
Same to you.